So friends, here we are in an outdoor area with bamboos behind us. It was too loud in the restaurant. It was too dark. We couldn't read our notes.
Yeah.
It was not going to happen.
No.
So we're going to basically pick up where we left off.
Yeah.
By the way, we're dressed in dark colors because the title is All the Colors of the Dark. So that's our theme. Darkness.
And that will be explained later.
Yes. Yeah. It'll come up.
Sure.
So hang in there.
Yes.
Here we go. I think Lily's gonna go first because I'm a little bit ahead, Lily.
Gotcha. No, my notes just pretty much.
Page 10.
We've heard of Patch saving Misty from getting abducted, and the style does go back and forth. So it does go back to where Patch and his best friend Saint became friends, and Saint is a girl around his age, and she wanted bees for her birthday, I think, one time, and her grandma bought her bees, but at this point in time, her bees have been stolen, and that's a big deal, right? That her bees have been stolen, and
well, she's also an awkward preteen, just like Patch. I think that's also what brought them together.
Yeah,
they're awkward in different ways, and her thing is her fixation with bees. I think I forgot to tell you that on page 10, I was already attached to Patch. This is when we hear that he is stabbed in the stomach, and I was mourning him already. I really thought he was going to die.
You're right.
Because the description of the book tells you there's a tragedy, and I thought he's dying already. And I didn't realize that was not going to be the case, but I was mourning his loss on page 10. So I have to say good job, Chris Whitaker, for making me feel those feelings.
Yeah,
you know, it was.
You go through lots of feelings.
Yeah, so early on in the book.
Yeah.
Page 22.
Okay.
On page 22, Saint knew that some people mistook money for class and anger for strength. I think that was a great quote. Anger for strength, when sometimes anger is fear, and people act out their fears by masquerading it, right? And disguising it as anger when really they're afraid.
They're afraid of
And
something.
I also agree with the fact that money does not buy you class.
Oh, no.
So I just thought that was, I mean, I don't need to say more.
Yeah.
You know, right? Just because you have money doesn't mean you are a classy person.
Yep.
I just tore the library book. I hope they don't notice. Yes. Moving along. Oh, yes. Page 37.
Okay.
So on page 37, Saint's grandmother says the following. My grandmother says some people are born to make others work harder. So, you know, we're teachers. We always say this. Can I make my students work harder, Lily? I try. And sometimes I feel like I'm the only one that's working hard. Yeah. But is it really like that? Are some people born to make others work harder? Just a philosophical question for you that is posed in this book.
Yeah. What do you have? Page what?
I'm on 58.
Oh, I'm 39. And my caption here, what I wrote, says, what makes you poor? And there was something here that says, she picked the mud from beneath her nails. And I'm going to say this is Saint. She picked the mud from beneath her nails, fussed with her braid, and pushed her frames up a nose too small to carry such weight. She knew when most looked at her, they saw a poor girl. And this is when she was talking to the chief, Chief Nix. Not poor like Patch, because her grandmother drove the bus and they owned a decent home, because her grandfather had insurance, but poor in an altogether more complex way. A poor girl who had no sense of style or femininity, no chance of finding a boy and then a man. A girl who looked to books for answers to questions that would never be asked of her. So my question is, what makes you poor? And, you know, her and her grandmother lived okay. They weren't poor like Patch, but she still says he looked at her like poor girl. So, you know, is poor a financial thing? You can be poor in friends.
Yeah.
Right?
Which is called, there's a term for it, like social wealth.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So if you are surrounded by a support system, people that love you, you know, you can, like you said, you can be monetarily deficient, but you have social wealth.
Okay.
So yes, I feel like in her case, she's got a very small support system, but the people that she has in her immediate circle are people that we'll see through the pages that are there for her.
Because all her needs are met.
Yeah.
I feel as long as you have that,
Yeah.
then that's when, like, what makes you poor? Because you don't have your own car, because you don't travel.
Very relative, right?
I guess it depends on who you talk to.
Yeah, and what country you live in. And,
exactly. Yeah.
58 still for me. Maybe.
58 still for you?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm on page 42. And it says, friendship doesn't just happen, it must be built. And this is, Patch is abducted. We know he's not dead. He's not dead. He's in a basement of some sort, right? And there's, he meets somebody down there. Her name is Grace, which we think that's someone who is also abducted with him. But it's so dark in there, he never really sees her, just hears her voice. And then, I don't want to start all the way, but actually, no, this is when he was there. The italics, the dialogue gets me very, very confused because it does go back and forth. Anyway, so it says, he frowned once more. Friendship was a difficult art to master. There had blossomed after he showed up at her house with a stolen spoon and a single cracker, bloomed when he sat next to her at lunch each day, eyeing her sack lunch to see if it contained honey. And now she knew several cogent facts about him. So I think this is a description of his relationship with Saint. And it says friendship was a difficult art to master. And I think that is so true, right? You can say you have so many friends, but who is a true friend, right? Because you can't just say, oh, they're my friends. But then, like we've talked about, you get together with someone, it's hard sometimes to plan something, some outings and stuff.
I think especially in our current day and time, right?
Yeah.
We some people think that because they have 100 friends on social media that they have social wealth.
That's right.
And but can you really? For me, the big deciding factor in terms of who you really count as a friend is the person that you can be vulnerable with. That you can really express yourself in your true raw feelings. And so think about it, dear reader, viewer. Who in your life is that person that you can really tell them everything?
Yeah, I hope you have somebody.
Yeah, we do. We do hope so, because that's important for our sanity.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. All right, page 56 for me.
Go ahead.
Breaks my heart to know kids worry about that. Again, this is a italicized, so I don't know who's talking to who.
We'll remember later.
We will, yeah. It says, the first time she whipped the top can from the tower, she turned to grin, but found him lost to her. She did not know he worried they would not afford to heat their home that winter, that the refrigerator would remain bare. She did not know that kids worried about such things. I think this is talking about Patch and his mom, right? Because like we talked about, he turned out to be the caretaker for his mom. Because even though she cleaned houses and had a job here and there, it wasn't enough because it wasn't consistent. It wasn't enough to pay the rent. So he worried, are we going to pay the rent? Is the refrigerator going to stay on? And so I think he was 13. He's still a kid. And like I said, it breaks my heart to know that this is a book, but in real life, there are kids probably that worry about that. Yeah. Right?
Yeah, they have to do the adulting in their families.
Have to grow up soon.
Sooner rather than sooner than they need to be. They're not able to be children for as long as they should be.
Yeah.
58.
Okay.
So we were talking as we were having our appetizers today about purple honey, right, Lily? So let me read this to you because I think we both bookmarked the same area. And we were mentioning how honey has come up before in our discussions. The North Carolina coastal plain, the sandhills. No one knows for sure why they do it, but it's real purple. This is the honey. It glows. It's like proof, Patch. There's magical things out there just waiting on you. And I just, further along, she says, can we go see it one day where they make purple honey, he said. And she nodded emphatically. It'll be our place. And I love how they show the ability to be in awe of creation. I'm personally always searching for that feeling in nature and in the places we travel to. I love to be awed by things that sometimes other people don't notice. So I think that they captured that really well in this book. You know, they have a goal.
Yeah.
They want to go see this purple honey someday. And they don't, I mean, at least by the end of the book,
it's not the way they wanted it.
It doesn't, they never accomplish that goal. They'll do other things, and now several things will happen in their lives. But this is a dream that they had at the age of 13 that they do not fulfill. In their 40s, because I think they're in their 40s when we finish the book.
Yeah. I have something, page 77.
Let me see. Yes, go ahead.
So by now, like we said, Saint is on a mission to find Patch because he's not dead. He's in a basement somewhere.
Well, they haven't found a body.
They haven't found a body, so he must be somewhere.
But I have to say, Lily, I think a lot of people have given up on finding him, except for Saint, this, tween.
Even though there's been other girls that were abducted, and you just see their posters across town. And at one point, Saint sees a school picture somewhere, right? A copy machine? I don't know. A copy machine shop? I don't know. Somewhere. And then he said it was Callie Montrose's picture, I think.
Yes, she's another
girl that was abducted, and she notices either a sign or something, and he's like, "Oh, well, who is this guy? Ellie Aaron or something?"
Oh, this is a photographer.
The photographer, yes, the photographer. So she somehow gets pointed to this picture, and it's from a school photographer that goes to their local schools and takes school pictures. So there's something that catches her eye, and she decides to go to his house because obviously it's a small town. Everyone knows where he lives. So she goes to see this photographer, and I think she goes in there and starts looking around and says, "You live here alone?" She said, glancing around again. He smiled like she amused him, like he skimmed every thought in her head and guessed her moves before even she knew them. The sink was filled with pans, the dark metal sheared off to the bone of a silver beneath. He pushed open a door and she glanced into a small bedroom with a bare mattress yellowed with sweat. He grabbed a couple of sheets from a dresser. She saw books stacked floor to floor. "Best education you can get," he said. "See through someone else's eyes and you understand more everything." And I just wrote books not just as facts, but it's about understanding human experience. Because when you think the authors of books, they're writing not just facts, but there's some kind of truth or their experience that they attach to it. And when he said best education you can get, I mean, I have to say, I have to agree with that because that is so true. Books, I mean, maybe if you don't travel anywhere, but just reading a book that can take you somewhere, it can do more than just, And I mean, traveling is a lot harder, right? It requires a time commitment. It requires money. You have to get creative. But books, they don't, I mean, you get it for free at the library. I mean, it's definitely the best way to travel. All you need is an imagination. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so this is where she's talking to Eli Aaron. So the photographer.
Yes, Eli Aaron is a person of interest in our search for this person that is kidnapping young ladies.
Yes.
92.
92. Oh, where's the page? I have something on page 91, but it's just a comment that Saint goes to Eli, and she definitely does discover that Patch is there. Does she light up the fire? Because the house goes up in flames, right?
Yes.
She does that?
I want to say yes.
Right?
Don't come after me if I'm wrong. But yes, somehow she causes that fire to catch attention, to be able to escape Eli Aaron, who at this point is obviously guilty of at least holding Patch captive.
Mm-hmm.
This is the photographer that photographed the children of the town that people trusted.
Yeah, because he had access to them
Yes.
by taking pictures of them.
So this is all we know now. Like, why is this guy kidnapping girls?
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to leave, disappear, run away. They're not going to capture him. And he will pop up later in the story.
Yeah, he will.
92?
Yeah.
So on 92, I just wanted to comment on a beautiful metaphor that appeared on this page about how life shapes us. At 10 years old, he realized that people were born whole and that the bad things peeled layers from the person you once were, thinning compassion and empathy and the ability to construct a future. At 13, he knew those layers would sometimes be rebuilt when people loved you, when you loved. So this is Patch reflecting on life. And I just thought that was such a beautiful metaphor, right? On how you can be taught to be bitter and to hate, or you can rebuild yourself.
Yeah.
It's definitely, psychologists will agree that adolescence is a tough age, right? That it shapes you.
Yeah.
So I think that this quote caught it perfectly because that's the age that he and Saint are at.
Yeah.
13-year-olds.
Yeah.
101.
101. And we know he's saved. He's in ICU. He's in ICU. Eli, they think either burned, right? Because they never caught Eli.
Yeah.
So they're believing, well, maybe he
died.
Died in the flames.
In the fire. Yes. Is 101 okay for you?
Yes.
Okay. So on 101, Patch talks about what he leaves behind. He spoke without intent, just a brutal and complete honesty. How little I left behind. He felt her bare arm against his. I need to know your name, he said. Her voice. So this is when he mentions Grace. And he's reflecting on his life. What would have been left behind if he had died? And he realizes that there's not much. You know, a mom that is kind of absent, kind of there. His friend Saint, but he really has nothing. So it got me thinking, you know, and I mean, I posed the question to you, dear reader. If you were gone today, what would you leave behind? Moving along.
113.
105 for me. So here I think is the part where Patch starts painting. And he is remembering when he was locked up with Grace, and she asks him to paint her, and to paint for her, to paint, you know, his experiences, and what colors she asks, you know, him what colors he would use if he painted her. And she tells him, paint it with every color you know so I can see it, so we can see it. So colors, and it takes us back to the title, right? Why colors are so important, because depending on the colors you choose, that shows the vision that you have in life. So again, it got me reflecting, like if I painted, okay, first of all, I cannot paint. But if I painted my life, a portrait of myself, the people around me, what colors would I use? I don't know. I ask you the same, dear viewer. Like, what colors would you use? I mean, our title here is All the Colors of the Dark. And there's very many shades in darkness, right?
Yeah.
That is what we learn in this book. Even in darkness, color abounds. You mentioned what page, Lily?
Page 113.
Okay, go ahead.
And it was just something that says, because, like I said, it goes back and forth to when he's saved, but he goes back to like memories, right, when he was there, and he has conversations with Grace, and she she tells him, pray. If he's coming, just pray. And so he pictures her so vividly after he's saved. There's no word of Grace. He's still like, well, what happened to Grace? And everybody's like, what are you talking about? Right?
Yeah.
You're saved. You're fine. But in his mind, he's like, but Grace, he can't describe her because he never saw her.
Because they were in the dark.
And it goes back to when he was, she told him, it's my birthday today. Because he thinks that she's also a girl that's been abducted that is down there also. And he tells her, when we get out, I'll get you a gift. But this is where he hits the man that has abducted them with a brick that he had been loosening up for days. So I think that's when it turns to, I'm going to get us out of here. And he said, happy birthday. As if that was a gift to her to get them out of there. And that's when he was able to escape. I think that's the same time that Saint came in and found that this Eli guy is the one that responsible for the missing, at least for Patch.
So all the stars aligned for them.
Yes, exactly, at that moment. Yeah. And he was down there for almost a year. So Saint still didn't give up.
Yeah. And one of the mysteries of the book, right, is we start questioning whether, just like everybody else in the book, if Grace really does exist, if Patch imagined the whole thing, because he was clearly in a state of psychological, breakdown. Being cooped up in this dark room for so long. So people don't believe him when he says, let's find Grace. Everybody thinks he just imagined her. And I have to say that I also thought
the same thing. Because when you're down there in the dark for almost a year,
you need companionship. Yes.
And that was his way of surviving.
Yes.
Right? The trauma that he was going through. So it just goes back and forth. I'm on page 125. Yeah. And now this is when Patch is in the hospital because he's been saved and still asking for Grace. I just have my timeline here. I don't have anything till page
And of course, nobody suspected the photographer, right? So,
no.
If it hadn't been for Saint, for this little teenager, who knows if they ever would have found Patch. 138.
Okay.
So on 138, Patch is saved, like you said, Lily, and he becomes obsessed with finding Grace.
It's an obsession.
Yes, it really is. That is the word for it, an obsession that he carries with him for many, many years. And on this page 138, he researches about missing children. So I wanted to share that with you. So many gone and never found, and no one ever charged. Sometimes they ran follow-up pieces, and Patch noted the toll taken. The parents who could not stay together in their shared agony, and so carried their infections and poisoned new partners, but drank from their comfort, the only pain they had known, so paling it did not count at all. The girls outnumbered the boys 50 to 1.
Oh my God.
They varied in appearance, but were one and the same. Young, mostly too young to realize they were birthmarked with targets that only boldened with time. Invisible to begin with, taking shape through formative years and burning red hot through puberty and into their teens. So, in case you've ever wondered, dear reader, the statistics are alarming.
Wow.
In terms of kidnappings and such.
So in the comment that mostly too young to realize they were birthmarked with targets, it's like when you're born a girl, you have a target on your back.
Yes, basically. Right? Yes. It's scary as a mother, to realize, just by having a daughter, automatically, that she's at a disadvantage. And this is a reminder of that, right? Like, when you look at things, we're not numbers, but we are. When you look at statistics, you wonder, is my child, am I, I'm not a teen, is my child, my niece going to be one of those missing girls? My students, in my case, your case. We mentioned earlier that we wonder if Grace exists or not. At some point, I started wondering, and I don't know if you did too, Lily, if he was in a coma in between death and life, and if Grace was already dead and he was kind of an in-between world. I felt that for a while, he's maybe speaking to somebody that's already dead. Because he's dying as well. Did you think that?
Yeah, I thought, was it a dream? But he just talked about Grace so vividly.
Yes.
No, but he never saw her. But had these conversations, very detailed conversations. So it was just, I was torn back and forth, is he? Because he really spends his life looking for Grace.
Yes.
And it's almost like he couldn't find closure. I guess you don't find closure when you go through that, right? But he wanted to find her and hadn't been able to. So at what point, when does he move on? He didn't.
On page 173, Patch talks about the scar that that he has when he was attacked when saving Misty. Saint is with Patch, and they're looking through his dad's old clothes. And so I'll just read the quote to you. She looked away as he stripped from his t-shirt, his arms crossing loosely over his front, guarding the scene. In the window, she caught the reflection of him, of the scar still risen, of a history carved so deep she had stopped trying to compete, instead gradually working to bring all of him home. So she remembers, right, the scar that he bore to save Misty's life. And my question to you, dear reader, is what story do our scars tell? You know, for example, women that have C-sections, right? Do you have any scars, Lily, that have a story? No?
Boring.
Yeah,
I don't
scars.
I don't have good stories.
I have to say that I do have a very large scar on my knee, my right knee.
Oh, okay.
And the story behind that scar is that my sister was chasing me in the house, and I was running, and I didn't realize the screen door was closed, so I broke it with my knee. And that was 11 at the time, and that is a scar that I still have.
You still have?
Yes. So,
and those are
yeah,
visual scars, but
Yes.
what about the ones you don't see,
Yes.
right?
The emotional
There could be,
scars.
Emotional
Yes.
scars.
I think at our age, we all carry those.
Yeah,
It's hard to
and
be
those must be
unscathed.
harder to
Agree.
do away with, I guess, right?
175?
Yes, go ahead.
So Saint is losing her childhood friend. She sees it with Patch. He's growing, you know, he's going his own way. It's hurting her. Her loss is gradual, and many times we don't notice it. Rarely is it sudden. And I think, again, right in our lives, we've experienced that as well, where we are very close to people. But, you know, we just lose touch with them.
Yeah.
And in Saint's case, this is a very painful loss because they've gone through so much trauma together, and she's aware that he is drifting apart.
And she found him. She helped, pretty much, she's the one that found him, right? So she thinks Patch is back, but he's not back.
Exactly.
The old Patch is not back. He's different. It was less than a year, but he's totally a different person. And I think she's mourning that.
Yes.
That friend.
Yes.
The old
because
Patch.
It's the same body, but not the same person.
Yeah.
On page 177,
Okay.
we hear from Misty. Remember, Misty is the young lady that Patch saved from being abducted. And here, I think we're seeing a flashback where Misty fought for Roe v. Wade. And I just couldn't help but think that 50 years later, we're at a different place with Roe v. Wade, right?
Yeah.
And it was just a reminder of how hard women fought back then, and what these women think, or those that are still alive, right? Of how it's completely different now in our country. And this scene is I didn't think anything of it, but it will be important towards the end of the book.
Yes.
The fact that Misty was very adamant about fighting for that case. And protesting it. Page 180. Misty keeps reaching out to Patch. Before the abduction, they were not in the same social circle. Misty was popular, pretty, rich, and we already told you, Patch and Saint were the total opposite. But now that she's back, she feels. I guess my question was, why does she keep reaching out to him? Is it gratitude? Is it guilt? Is it trauma bonding? She keeps seeking him out, and he keeps turning her away.
Yeah. And this was his crush prior.
Yes.
And almost like, I like her, but he knew that she was so out of his league. But now that she's the one seeking him out, but like you said, what was it? Was it gratitude, or is she like feel indebted to him. Like, you saved me, so now I should be your friend.
Yes.
And Patch wants nothing to do with it because in his brain, all he cares is about finding
Grace.
Yes,
that is.
Grace. And they do eventually start dating, right? She does invite him to her birthday party. She invites Saint also, right?
Yes. But to get him to come.
To get him to come, because otherwise Patch wouldn't go.
Yeah.
Even though Patch is on his own little world. But he goes. And on page 197, is that where you're at?
187.
Okay.
Patch is trying to capture Grace's image by memory. Sammy, we'll talk about Sammy in a bit. Sammy suggests that he paint her. If he really wants to remember what she looks like, if he wants to capture her image, then he should paint her. And so with this, Patch becomes a painter. This is his first attempt at art. And I mean, this is how it was done before cameras. People painted other people.
Portraits. Right?
Yes, portraits, yes. And Lily, maybe you have a better recollection of how they met, Sammy and Patch.
I don't know, but Sammy owns a gallery downtown somewhere, right? Funny guy. So how they befriend each other, I don't know if Sammy, I don't know if Patch started working for him, like sweeping the floor and, right?
You're right.
Something like that.
Yes.
And
it was just hired help.
Yeah, at that point. But, Sammy's so blunt and so sarcastic.
Yes. He's a funny guy.
I guess, he really is. And is trying to help him out with his memory and trying to capture Grace. I guess personify her, I guess, so the way others can see who she is, because nobody knows of this Grace. But he paints Grace many, many times, right? Many times.
Like different portraits of her.
Yeah, because he doesn't really, he's not sure, but that's how he becomes a
And one of the things we see is, the original goal is to paint this image of this girl that he claims was in confinement with him. Yeah. So Sammy says, okay, we'll paint her. That way we know, she becomes tangible.
That way others
can see her. But it's also, I think, a way for him to exercise his demons, right? Art is therapy. We all know that. Science says it. Many artists have painted in order to exercise their demons. Yeah. So this is Patch's way of, without him realizing it. Yeah. Of just, it's his own therapy, I guess. Yeah. 201.
I have 197. So Patch goes to the birthday party, Misty's birthday party. And are they 16 at this point? Maybe it's a little bit past, after the abduction. And he goes and buys her a snow globe. It was $1, a snow globe.
Oh, yeah, that was the
Which
gift
he regrets it, right?
Yeah.
But he's going to a birthday party, so he needs to take a gift. And on his way there, or while he's getting there, there's kids, right, that start making fun of him, of his clothes, his shoes. And he's just trying to defend himself kind of from everything, all the kids around him. And then he hears a box and the snow globe breaks. And I just wrote, I felt bad for him, and how bad must he have felt. And then it says right then, he longed to be back in the darkness beside her, meaning beside Grace. Because Grace was his comfort through the tough time of being down there. So now he's going through a tough time where kids are bullying him again. And he just wants to be with Grace because that was his comfort. So I think that's why he keeps going to that as a comfort.
Now that you say that, Lily, it's true. How many people hide in their own spaces because they're afraid of the world, right? And the world can be cruel. So sometimes it's safer just to stay in your space.
Like a bubble.
Yeah. So that makes sense. He wants for that.
He wants to go back to that. And you would think those somebody that went through trauma, why would you want to go back to that? But Grace was his comfort. Yeah. So that's my tidbit there. And then on page 199, I just wrote, LOL, that's, what? Not working with the living. Oh, Saint. Saint is a tomboy. We've known that, right? She wears glasses. She wears a braid, overalls. And Norma, her grandma, is trying to see how she can get her ready to go to Misty's birthday party, right? Kind of like, hey, Patch is going to be there. Go for him, right?
Yeah. Dress up.
Dress up.
Do your hair.
Yeah, because she's they're 16 at this point, And so Norma takes her, to get her makeup done, but takes her to somebody that does the makeup for the dead at a mortuary, remember?
Yes, I forgot that part. That's funny.
And it says here, Saint's eyes widen in horror. Mr. Nathaniel from Montclair Funeral Parlor. Mrs. Harris pushed her back into a chair with a heavy hand. If I can bring a corpse back to life, I can handle you. And then Saint said, and the freak show is complete. You want me to do something with this braid? And Saint said, yes, leave it the F alone. And then the lady says, this is why I don't work with the living. And I'm like,
that is funny.
That is so true. Like people that go into those professions.
Yeah.
Is it because they introverts and they don't want to deal with the living? Like actual.
Yeah, because we complain and we criticize. Yeah. So you're right.
Like, would that be better?
Corpse isn't going to say anything.
Yeah. Or doggies. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes. So yes, working with the non-living.
Yes. 201.
Sounds tempting.
Yes. No. Maybe
yes.
So.
20. Yes.
So I've heard this before. Choose the one who loves you the more, not the one you love. So this is the advice, not in those words that Norma gives Saint. So remember Jimmy. Jimmy has a big crush on Saint, but we know Saint is in love with Patch.
It's
very apparent. Yeah. So Saint is, he's sweet. He blushes when he looks at her.
He goes to church.
He says, yes, he's a church-going boy. He says to her, I see you, Saint. I see the way you care. Mm-hmm. I see the way you close your eyes for a couple of seconds before you laugh. I see you try and hide your tooth when you smile. So, the fact that he pays attention to those details, he really is smitten with her.
Yeah.
But Saint only has eyes for Patch.
So because of Jimmy, so when Saint goes to Eli Aaron's house in search of Patch, because it's almost like she's sure Patch is there. It's Jimmy who tells the chief Saint went to so-and-so's house.
He's protecting her.
Is why the cops went after her. So it's because of Jimmy that, he's been after her, for years and stuff. Yeah. Page 202.
Yes.
So Patch, remember the snow globe broke because the kids broke it anyway. So he ends up going in and Misty tells him, you're late. And then he says, I worry I'll never find her. Her being Grace. He said, and could almost not bear to speak such a truth. You can keep looking, she said, but you might miss what's right in front of you. And I think Misty is talking about herself. Like, you can keep looking for her, but you're going to miss what's in front of you.
Yeah.
Right? So it's almost like she has developed a genuine crush for him, regardless of what the other kids are, making fun of him for, regardless of his status. Because remember, they're wealthy. Patch is not wealthy. They're two extremes. Yeah. So this is when I'm like, oh, maybe she does like him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She definitely, the lived experience definitely opened up her eyes.
For her, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In terms of, this guy was willing to die for her.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, whereas these boys that she's meeting at school, like, they're just, silly boys.
Yeah.
247.
Oh, I have something on 208. So, I don't know who Carol is, but again,
I'll remember.
He looking for Grace, right? Patch wondered if hope was its own kind of punishment, sometimes worse than certainty, than the long and closed off road toward healing. I just wrote, hope is a double-edged sword for him. It keeps him going, right? That hope that he's going to find Grace. But at the same time, hope also hurts him. It keeps him from really living because he's stuck looking for Grace. He can't keep going. I think that's why Saint eventually, I don't know if it's this part or not, but she becomes a cop.
Yeah, it's a great way to put it because hope is, it keeps you stuck.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it keeps you going.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It gives his life purpose. He wants to find Grace.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he's stuck on finding Grace. Yeah. He doesn't move on.
He can't.
So,
And then I was wondering,
well stated.
for how long?
Yes.
when are you going to give up?
For 600 pages for the record. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Page 247.
Oh, okay. I have
Yeah.
something on page
Mm-hmm.
216. It's just, it says, so Saint's grandma, Norma, she drives a school bus. Norma's hands shook not from anticipation, but because she could not stop them. Retirement had aged her overnight. So Norma's retired now. Mm. And Saint does say that she looks like she has aged a lot. And I said, oh no, what do you do when you're retired, right? That's like a scary thought, because if you have nothing else, if you don't have hobbies, if you don't have, like in a small town, if all her life was driving a school bus and looking after Saint, what do you do? What do you do after that? And Saint, on the previous page, we know she started working at this public library. And I was like, well, do I want to work at a public library? You know, that would be fun, surrounded by books. Easier to catalog books and put them away, not have to deal with the Dewey Decimal System, I guess. I guess eventually you still do, right?
But there's some kind of categorizing.
Yeah, you still you just have the computer.
Yes.
But yeah, I felt bad. Like, aw.
Yeah. And by now, we're almost at, halfway through the book or a quarter way down, and the kids have grown up. I'm thinking they're in their 20s now, no? Early 20s?
Yes.
On page 247, Lily, we know that by now we find out that Toombs, the doctor of the town, and Eli Aaron, the photographer, were working together. At least that's kind of the suspicions that we have. Saint is now a rookie for the police department, and
working alongside Chief Nix.
Yes. So that's where we're at on page 247 of the book. Aaron is still MIA. Is he dead? Did he die in the fire or did he escape? We don't know because no body was found. Toombs, Dr. Toombs is in prison, and there's a death sentence weighing on him. So he is not going to come out of prison. And that's where we're at in the timeline, as you call it, Lily. Grace is also still missing in the story, and everybody is confused about the existence of Grace.
And mind you, this has been like years already.
Like us.
5-7 years.
I even thought for a moment, like, is Patcha psychic? Does he have a sixth sense? Is he communicating with the dead? Like, we still don't know if Grace is real, and we continue to be as confused as the characters of the story.
When I think as time goes on, he also questions that himself, doesn't he? Like, because his memory. Yes.
But then he's like, but I remember so many details.
Yeah,
How can she not be real?
Yeah.
272?
I have something on 251. Okay. But also, not only did Patch start painting Grace, but he started painting other girls that have been abducted. And sending those pictures to the families, almost to give them that sense of comfort. And Sammy, wants him to keep.
And he also displays them in his gallery, and also to give the girls publicity, right?
Yeah,
because eventually Patch will become a famous painter.
And yeah, he does become a famous painter, and then he starts painting not just their portraits or Grace's portrait, but also what she described
the places.
There. Yes, she described her house. She described different things. Yeah. So he painted that as well. He ends up going to different cities where women were abducted, still in search for Grace. And he comes across. He must be in his early 20s because remember she's a rookie, right? So so he must be in his 20s, and the author wrote here, in Corpus Christi, he saw the ocean for the very first time in his life and spent a day watching its folds and breathing a salt air so dry and perfect. He placed a call to Sammy and told him exactly how the water had felt when he found a deserted stretch, stripped from his clothes and waded out deep. And Sammy said, stop calling me, even though it was the first call. But here's like, I think we've talked about this before. It's like, he's seen the ocean for the very first time. We live so close to it. So to me, it's like, as an adult, seeing that vast ocean for the very first time, how must he have felt to be like, wow, right?
And I have to say, as you were talking, Lily, I also thought about the fact that, bad things happen to us, right? But in that darkness, and again, going back to the title, right? If it hadn't been for that, would he have left his small town?
Right.
He's traveling through the country in search for these girls. But at the same time, he's traveling.
Yeah.
He's seeing new places. He's experiencing new things. So yes, life is mixed up. It has a mix of tragedy, but also, you see beauty at the same time.
Yeah. And he has a little bit of money, I think, because Sammy was able to sell some of his paintings. He won't sell the one of Grace.
Grace number
right?
one.
Grace number one. He won't sell it. But he does have a little bit of money, and he goes out, and a lot of the money, he donates it to
the families.
To the families and to
the search, the organizations that search for missing girls.
And we know that he also starts robbing banks.
Lily, we have a post-it on the same page. 272. I love it when we do this together.
Yes.
So the reason we have this posted is because of what they say about marriage.
Yes.
So Norma's telling Saint to marry Jimmy. We talked about Jimmy already and what makes him such a strong candidate for marriage.
Yeah.
And then Norma says, when it comes to marriage, love is merely a visitor over a lifetime. Respect and kindness, they are the true foundations. If I'm honest, I think you should marry him. And even Saint admits Jimmy is a good man. But he's not. And she doesn't finish it. We all know.
And we all know. Yeah. And so Patch is gone at this point.
Yes,
he's in search of Grace in different cities. And he's a vet. He's studying to be a vet, almost becomes
like a veterinarian, not like a vet from the military.
Yeah, because he comes from a good family too, I think.
Yes,
right?
a religious family, church-going family. We know that, yes.
Yeah. And Saint is just the town's cop, right?
Yeah.
Small town cop. And he's wanting to marry her. And Norma, who's getting up there, right?
Yeah,
we know that
older.
she's aging.
Yes.
I think she really wants the best for her granddaughter, right?
And stability for her, a good man.
Pushing that for him. And Saint's like, but what if I don't love him?
Yeah.
And because she said, how do I know if I love him? And that's when Norma says, when it comes to marriage, love is merely a visitor. Anyway, so my question is, that's a hard truth. And speaking, is she speaking from experience? Is Norma speaking from experience?
We don't know much about her backstory. I mean, she was married. We know because she had a child and then a grandchild.
Yeah.
But what was her marriage like? And
was she married though?
Yeah. And what are these rumors about her being gay, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's just the town talks about it, but we really they don't. I mean, and I'm kind of grateful they don't explore that because the book was already long enough.
Imagine.
But yeah, it's just kind of thrown out there because she stayed single. Just because you stay single doesn't mean you're gay, people.
Correct. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Let's get. Yeah.
And going back to the whole theme of marriage, right? I mean, there is some truth to that. There were arranged marriages that somehow sometimes worked better. People are relying on the internet to pair them and match them with others that are like-minded.
Yeah.
Is marrying for love always work out? Does it work out for the best?
Right.
Sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
So yes, definitely a very complex topic.
Yeah. So she does end up marrying Jimmy.
Jimmy?
Yeah, she does. Page 280.
80? Go ahead.
Sorry, 283.
Go ahead. I have 284.
That was it. St. Mary's Jimmy.
So on 284, Jimmy is good, but the devil is in the details. So this is what I want to read to you. Patch asks Saint. So he comes back, or maybe he calls. I'm not sure.
I think he shows up because Sammy tells him Saint is getting married.
Yeah. She wanted to tell him that Jimmy said there wasn't room for her piano, that sometimes she fixed his dinner and he forgot to thank her, that he was not silly in any of the good ways. She wanted to tell Patch that Jimmy did not like her being a cop, that he wanted to have children right away, and that when they did, he expected her to step out of her life and into a mother's. Most of all, she wanted to tell him that she was scared. She was a cop who had done so many brave things, but she was scared. So, but then she says he treats me well. So how do we define a successful marriage?
And this is when they got married.
Yeah.
This is at the party. So she, and I put the same thing.
Yeah.
I just put red flags.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why she got married, I think because Norma influenced her.
Yeah.
Right. And
because he was a good guy.
Yeah, because he was a good guy. But prior to getting married, she saw all these red flags already. She played the piano from when she was little. And so now she wasn't allowed to have a piano at home. So she started seeing these things, but yet he was good.
Yeah. And when the person that loves you doesn't do these things for you, does that person really love you?
Right? Before you even get married.
Or what is it that he was attracted to in her?
Yeah.
What did he see in her? Clearly, he wasn't, they weren't compatible.
They were not compatible.
On page 287, Saint says this about love, which is what her grandmother told her. Love is a visitor. She's talking to Chief Nix. And Chief Nix is single. He says, people talk about one life, one chance, but I reckon a single life is made up of a dozen or more roles and responsibilities. I can count the versions of myself like friend and foe. Mistakes are the detours that remind you of the true way, Saint. To love and be loved is more than can ever be expected. More than enough for 1,000 ordinary lifetimes. So, he's not revealing too much of himself, but he's also saying, you gotta be loved, you gotta love. On page 288, Saint and Nix continue to talk, what people see in us and who we really are. So she says to him, there's women in town that want to date you. And he says, the idea of me, maybe. The real me, well, he lost his heart 30 years ago. And she asks, what happened? What always happens? One of you leaves the other one alone. So I just thought it was interesting, right? That he's like the single guy that all the women are lusting over in the town. And he won't. No. He won't date any of these women. And we'll find out why at the end. Yeah. I did not expect that.
No, I did not either.
I thought he just liked to be alone. He valued his solitude.
Mystery.
Yes. But yes, we will let you know what is up with him later on. So on page 292, we are already in the 1990s, starting the year 2000. A fun fact, I did not know that before the year 2000, people were allowed to smoke in planes. Lily, did you know that?
Yes, because I remember traveling as I was a kid, and it would have the little smoke, thing, signs,
to stop smoking, or so she had
certain areas of the plane, like it still travels.
Yes, you could still
remember, it's like, or in the restroom or something like that.
So she is flying to get trained by the FBI. The FBI has recruited her. She had never flown before. And, she mentions that all these people are smoking and it was annoying and it was making her eyes water. So I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah, even though she grew up in a household where Norma smoked, right? So she's used to that, but trying to escape that.
And it was actually the domestic flights that took longer to ban smoking as opposed to the international flights.
Interesting.
So, because, we're all about fun facts as well, people.
Fun fact.
Page 297.
Okay.
So I said, here we go again. Jimmy is revealing his true self. So when she had told him she would be spending her weekdays and some weekends in Kansas, he had argued. When she told him why, he had punched the refrigerator, the only damage done to his hand, which Saint had bandaged. So she notices he gets angry, and Norma again says what we mentioned earlier. Anger is misplaced fear. So we're making excuses for the guy that punches the fridge.
Yeah, because he doesn't want her to go. Yeah. So that's why he's
So we're starting to see that Jimmy is, even though he seemed to be a nice guy, he's an emotional manipulator.
And he didn't pass his exams to become a veterinarian.
So he blames her.
So blames her.
Because she's not there to support him.
Yeah.
He's worried about her with the FBI. And I think that's what I was going to read to you on page 302. He says, I love you so much, and I know that I've let you down, and my parents and your grandmother. And she tries to comfort him. You didn't let anybody down. And he says, you don't think I study hard enough? Or maybe it's because I lay awake worrying about my wife and why she isn't home. So yes, it is her fault that he does not pass his test because she is not there. And he's spending his time worrying about her. Emotional manipulation.
Yep.
Total emotional manipulation. On page 313.
Me too.
Yes. Go for it. I think it's the same.
So this is, yes, Norma and Saint are talking. And again, it comes up again. Love is a visitor. This is like the third time. Norma took her hand. Did you marry him because I told you to? I don't do anything you tell me to. Anyways, but I'm sure she did. And then Norma says, he gives us the tools to be better, to build better. And if we turn around and use those tools to hack at others, to undo whatever good has been constructed, then we may turn back and accuse him of not doing the building for us.
She's talking about God here.
She's talking about God. God gives us the ability to choose right from wrong, but God doesn't magically,
Well, he gives us free will, right?
Or erase pain, right? And I think that's what some people want miracles to happen. But you gotta put your effort into it.
Well, people don't understand that once we get free will, and there are consequences of the choices that we make. So he gives us the ability to choose. So we must live with the consequences of those choices. We can't just expect him to make it better when we make that choice. We can't have it both ways. I guess that's what we're trying to say. 318.
I have 316. Okay. Something about silence can come from self-control, deep inner strength. The bad are the few, and I don't know if this is Norma talking again. Yeah. Sammy is here. The bad are the few, but often they shout louder than the many. Don't mistake silence for weakness. So beside her grandmother, she gave herself over. Oh yeah, this is also with Norma. Just as silence comes, it's hard to be silent.
It really is.
It really is.
I have to say that I cannot identify with that quote.
No, because I'm like, silence is not a form of weakness. No, but also I want to do something about it. So it requires self-control and deep inner strength. Yes. And I can see that. I can't handle that. I can't do that. I need to say it.
Yes. I guess sometimes we just.
But I have to be like,
yes.
To a certain extent. 318.
So here we see a connection with the title and also with the pirate theme. A random woman tells Patch, I also know pirates wore eye patches to adjust to the light and dark above and below deck during raids. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that. I had to look it up.
Yeah, so we learned something new as to why. Because I'm like, are all these pirates eyeless?
Right.
Because it's become such a staple of a pirate, right, to wear these eye patches. So now we know why they wore them. It's not that they were missing an eye.
Yeah.
They were just
not a fashion statement.
Yes. And it's a very also symbolic statement, being that Patch was in captivity in darkness for so long, right? And he's not able to adjust to light after coming out of the darkness. Like that.
I wonder if Chris Whitaker had something to do with that. Like, was that just a coincidence?
That he
wore a patch, that he was in the dark, and he's trying to adjust to the light, but really adjusting to life after? I don't know.
Tell us, Chris Whitaker, if you find us.
Let's tag you.
Yes, let us know if we've nailed the analysis of your book. On page 319.
I love that you said that. This is an analysis.
Yes, yes. On 319, an abortion clinic, I think, comes up. Let me, so trying to remember and understand my notes. Saint is pregnant.
Yes.
This is an unwanted pregnancy for several reasons. Number one, Jimmy is not the person that she thought he was. And she doesn't think she wants to be with him anymore. And number two, her lifestyle, her job doesn't allow her to be a mother.
And so, she's working for the FBI, so she's not really at home anymore.
Yes. So she goes to a place. It's a 2-story building. It's painted in pink. She is in this place, and then she sees people with placards, men with saying that the bodies, let me read, who laid claim to women and their bodies like rapists, championing at a noble cause. Your body, my choice. That's a phrase that came up recently in social media. Very disturbing, by the way. So I was surprised to see it in the book. This is supposed to be the 2000s, I think. So she's 200 miles from Montclair, from Jimmy and his bloat, his tired eyes, and the pitch of his disappointments. And so she's contemplating, from the looks of what I'm reading here, getting an abortion, right? She is being questioned at the reception desk. Saint wanted to tell the girl that she guessed it would, at some uncalled for time in the future, when she could look back from a different vantage point and not feel that retaining cord stretched so taut. So she is in there, and we are left wondering if she went through with this abortion. I thought she did it.
Yeah. Well, it says right here,
Yes.
Saint kept her eyes on his as she was led through.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And so then we kind of like leave that scene,
Yeah.
operating under the assumption that she went ahead with the abortion. On page 323, Nick's Saint talk. And I just said I like his advice. So I'm just going to read to you what the conversation is about. She tells him that she effed up. And he says, well, we all do. She shook her head because he could not understand. And she loved that he would not ask. How do I fix things? She said. You're not always able, but you take a moment and remind yourself where your north is. But I've got a feeling you already know that. They stood by his cruiser. Why did you stop by? She said. It's not only the old lady that misses having you around. He hugged her. I went to see Toombs, she said. And? She looked him in the eye, smiled, and shook her head. Nick smelled of cigars and cologne, or maybe of everything before. What do I do? She said. Do something meaningful. Or maybe just mean everything you do, he said. And I don't know about you, Lily, but I always try to do something meaningful. And to mean everything that I do. Mm-hmm. Good advice that the chief gives her. Mm-hmm. And she was talking about the visit to the abortion clinic. Mm-hmm. And I love the way he supports her.
Yeah.
Without asking questions. And he gives advice that is very applicable to whatever situation and crisis you're in.
Exactly. Because he's not judging. Mm-hmm. He's not judging. And I think that's...
he's trusting her. Mm-hmm. He's trusting her to make the right choice. Mm-hmm. And even if you don't make the right choice,
it's your choice.
Like, yeah, it's your choice, and you move forward with it, right? Mm-hmm. At the end of page, some of these don't have pages. Mm-hmm. Page 324, we learned that Jimmy beats Saint when she tells him that she went to this abortion clinic.
Yeah. Yeah.
He beats her terribly to the point that she has to go in hiding. Mm-hmm. She feels shame because she's an FBI agent. Mm-hmm. And she let a guy beat her up.
Yeah.
And so all we know is that she disappears for a while. Mm-hmm. And she doesn't tell anybody, not even her grandma, not Patch.
And she leaves him at that point,
and
right?
she leaves him, yes. Mm-hmm. For good.
Yeah.
Like they never get back together again. So moving along, I thought it was cute that Norma tries to fix everything by offering to take them out to ice cream. We should have had ice cream, Lily.
Yes. Oh,
yes. Why didn't we think of that?
Cute.
Yes. You see it over and over in the book. Hey, I'll take you for ice cream at Lindsay's. And they're just like, we're too old for ice cream. You keep seeing that in the book. Yeah. And there's a point in the book, I don't know if we put a post-it on it, where they're like, we should have gone for ice cream with her. Like, they miss that. Yeah. So I think we need to remember the small traditions, right? Yeah. I have to say that I have that tradition with my kids. We do froyo. That's ours. We just go get some frozen yogurt and we talk about whatever. Yeah. So, sometimes it's the small little things that you do with your loved ones. Yeah. Like, it doesn't have to be a big deal. Just establish traditions, I would say. Yeah. Because they're important. Yeah. Page 333. Here, Saint believes that Grace is dead. Saint says she's dead. He watched her. Toombs killed her. He told me. He buried her in Thurley State Park. Won't say more than that. And Patch is like, you're lying. And on page 334, he's in denial. He won't believe it. He smiled again. This time it was less. And in his face, she saw so much that he had lost. She thought of Misty and the kids in their class, kids that had gone on to college, to jobs, to family, and everything he deserved. And this is when she's pointing the trigger at him. So we need to kind of like
go back a bit,
step back a bit and give you some background. And before we do that, I just wanted to say, the weight trauma carries, right? What she says here about how all these kids that went to school with them have lives and careers and families, but what Patch lived, he never moved. He never evolved from that. I don't know if that's the right word, but he was just stuck in that trauma, and he wasn't able to have all the things that all these kids had. So let's backtrack a bit. The moment here is when she is actually hunting him down to arrest him. Do you want to? She got
hired from for the FBI specifically for that.
Oh, that's true. We forgot
specifically to go after Patch because they know now he's the one that has been robbing banks at gunpoint, even though he doesn't mean to. He just wants enough money to get himself by.
And I think he's told us that the gun is empty. The gun,
there's exactly.
Yeah. He just wants money to get by, like you said, and a lot of it he donates it to organizations and families.
Yeah, and he sleeps in his car, and so Saint finally catches up to him and is pulling the trigger because she needs to take him in.
Yeah,
she needs to take, and he does, and she does. She does arrest him. And he does do time.
He spends in the 1990s. We're on page 335 already. Patch goes to prison because his friend Saint arrests him. He spends 6 years in prison. In the meantime, Saint gets a divorce, and at this point, they're in their 30s. So that's where we're at. On page 374, the rainbow connection is mentioned, and it's going to come up again. Charlotte. Okay, so we have Charlotte, Lily. And we'll tell you about Charlotte in a bit. Let me read you this quote. Charlotte rolls her eyes in a move that echoed her mother's. Everyone on this earth is placed here for someone else. You follow your dreams and find them, and you make a match, and nothing else matters. Haven't you heard the frog sing it? Maybe they mentioned that. Oh, so I didn't read before that. That's your rainbow connection. What I just read to you is the person that you're placed for on this earth for. So do we believe that? Are we all here for someone else? Who is that? Who is my rainbow connection? Who is your rainbow connection? Is there more than one? I had never heard that concept, but I loved it.
Yeah. And does it have to be a spouse? Can it be a... Does it have to be your spouse?
Yeah. Can it be a friend? Yeah. Can it be a child? Can it be a parent?
A friend?
So,
Right?
And I think here at the end, we learned that it's Patch and Saint that are each other's rainbow connection. But I'll let Lily tell you about Charlotte because we forgot our backstory here.
Yeah. So he does his 6 years, right, in prison. He comes out. He goes back to Montclair, right, to his little town. Because Sammy's still there. Sammy has a gallery. Sammy has all his paintings up there. He has, with the money that he got from painting some of them, he was able to buy the house where his mom lived. Give her that security for not having to pay rent anymore. His mom did pass away, right? So he has a home to go to. So now he's out. He goes there. Misty is back in town. At some point, Patch and Misty connect in Boston, I think.
Yeah, somewhere. She's going to Harvard.
She's going to Harvard, right? They connect somehow before he goes to prison or something. I don't know. They connect somehow.
Yeah.
But now he's back after doing time in prison. He comes and is...
And when we mean connect, you know what we mean.
Connect.
They connect.
They
wink,
connected. Wink. Yes. And it's here that he starts to put it together that Misty has a daughter.
Yes.
Her name is Charlotte.
Yes. And she never told him about this daughter.
And that is his daughter.
Yes.
And now, like you said, that is Charlotte. No.
Charlotte. Yes.
Charlotte is
his daughter and Misty's daughter.
Yes. Right. But who's the rainbow connection? Saint and Patch.
We learn at the end. It'll come up again that they are each other's connection. But at this point, like but they never connect romantically. Even though, I mean, it's such a love. It's not even a triangle. It's like a hexagon. I don't know. So let's remind our readers.
Yeah.
Saint is in love with Patch.
Yes.
Patch is in love with Misty. Maybe, maybe not.
They did date.
Yes.
In high school, they went to prom.
And they connected.
And
they had a child together.
Well, they connected after, but while they were still in high school, her father gave him a check.
Yeah.
To leave
go
her.
away. Yes.
And he does end up dumping her. But she says, you can't dump me, I'll dump you. So she broke up with him. And I think that's where he used the money to buy the mom's house.
Yeah.
That's how he had money. And that's when he starts leaving to go and rob banks. But that's the only reason why he left her. Because the dad said, here's some money.
Well, Patch was not good enough for his princess, right?
Yeah.
But Misty is in love with Patch. And of course, there's Jimmy, who's in love with Saint. So it's just a lot of people loving the person
wrong
that don't,
person.
Yes, that doesn't love them.
Yeah.
So it did get confusing for a while.
For a little bit.
Yes.
But Patch is back. Knows now he has a daughter. He said, why didn't you tell Sammy to tell me?
Yeah.
And, it was like, no.
And she's quite a daughter. Yes, she's an interesting character.
Yeah, no, pretty funny, but I'm like, why are you allowed to speak to your adult like that?
Yes.
Right?
She's very grown up, quote unquote, for her age.
Yes.
Page 375.
Okay.
We've talked about this before. You just mentioned how she acts. And I wanted to comment on learned versus inherited behaviors. So we see a description of Charlotte here. He's asking Misty, what is she like? And then Misty says, she says, I don't even know where to begin. She's tough, smarter than me. She likes animals. Her favorite place on earth is Culpeper Zoo. She curses, which makes me laugh, and my mother die a little. We don't know where she picks up the words, and she steals things. We don't know where that comes from either. So we didn't tell you that Patch was a klepto.
I mean, he was,
Yeah, but he was poor. Not everything he stole was stuff that he needed, but this young lady, Charlotte, is living in a wealthy environment. So she has no need to steal. This is like the third time the klepto maniac pops up in the books that we read.
Yeah. Oh, yes. You're right.
Yes, it's the third time. So I'm telling you, like, we see a lot of patterns in what we're reading. But so, that's a little bit about Charlotte. And then on 376, I just wanted to comment on the challenges of parenting when you're not a present parent. So she squeezed his hand. She needs certainty, not a father who drops her each time a letter arrives or the telephone rings and then heads halfway across the country, her not knowing when she'll see him again. She needs roots she can take hold of, stability. So this is Misty telling Patch why she didn't tell him that he had a daughter, because he's not present. So that's why she never told him.
She said every time the phone rings or gets a letter, because he's still in search of grace, right?
Yes.
Whenever he feels like he got a tip, he's on his way.
Yep. Yes.
He's on his way.
On page 386, we learned that Misty is terminally ill. And I just couldn't help but realize how ironic this was, right? He saved her from a certain, I don't know if it was a certain death, but definitely, a precarious situation.
Yeah.
And, but ultimately he saved her so that she could make him a father.
Yeah.
Right? It just came full circle here.
Yeah.
On page 386 is where we learned that Misty is terminally ill. She has cancer. And then he decides to paint her. It was so sad. Yes, he paints Misty. On page 390, I love this quote, so I'm just going to read it. Sometimes people reserve so much of themselves. It's like saving a fine wine for an occasion that never materializes. So should we save the best of ourselves for when? Do we just have a drink now? To show our best in the moment, right?
Travel.
Yes.
Right?
And not
Didn't
save
we talk about that earlier?
Yes, we did. Another good quote. She said, your heart only has room for so much love because once it gets damaged, it shrinks. Oh, does our heart shrink?
I don't think
when we get hurt? Does it depend on the person? It's a sad thing.
Like, not
hear.
Literally, but I think your
ability
to
love. Yes.
You close it off because you want to guard it.
Yes. So maybe, depending on the person,
depending
right?
on the person, yeah.
On page 431.
Well, on page 400, I just wrote Misty died.
Oh, yes.
Misty died, and Charlotte went to go live with Patch at the madhouse. A madhouse is
Oh, yes. Oh my
is
God,
a
we have to
house-
talk about that. Yes, go ahead.
It's a house that Patch builds, right?
Mm-hmm.
Out of memory from when they were down there when he was with Grace, and he builds it to look like
Well,
a house.
I'm going to interrupt you because he destroys his former home.
The one with
that
his
he
mom,
grew
right?
up with his mom.
Mm-hmm.
And I just have to say, he's like, I mean, I've heard of like 3 different men in real life
Uh-huh.
that rebuild their homes. And I'm like, what is it about destroying and building that is so healing?
Mm-hmm.
In Patch's case, it seems like that's part of the healing process.
Yeah.
He has to tear down his home,
Okay.
where he lived in trauma with his mother.
Yeah.
And he builds it from scratch. But go on, Lily. Sorry to interrupt
That
you.
was that. No, and after Misty died, Charlotte goes to live with her father, Patch, and she's not happy about that.
Yeah, no. She doesn't like him.
She doesn't like him.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny, their relationship, right?
So, and they call it the madhouse because of how it came to be. He was mad. He tore it down. He built it himself.
Yeah. That's so funny. Yeah, that's all I got. I just remembered that.
And I think it's kind of modeled from his memories of what Grace would narrate, right? Okay, so 431, yes? No?
406. So Saint takes Charlotte to the library.
Mm-hmm.
Is Saint already her guardian at this point?
I don't know.
So Saint ends up being Charlotte's guardian because
Let's just say Patch will disappear again.
Patch disappears again until we
Yes.
tell you why.
Yes.
Anyway, so they go to the library. And then so Charlotte says, so other people have touched these, maybe even read them on the toilet, and then you just go ahead and take them home, she said.
Okay, now you got me questioning my book from the library.
I was like,
Where's the
ew.
disinfectant? Can I have a wipe?
Ew. I was like,
I missed that part. Yuck. Okay.
Rose,
Mental note.
how many sneezes?
Oh no, Lily! I will never look at a library book the same way. I'm gonna spray with Lysol every one that I get from now on.
But it's so true. This is Charlotte, who's like a young kid questioning this.
Yeah,
You're like,
this girl is definitely very perceptive, a very unique way of
yes.
seeing the world.
Is that her way to be like, I don't want books?
Yes, or is it?
Does that stop us?
No. Well, and she's a rich girl that has everything, so she doesn't need to go to a library. She can
That's
buy whatever
true.
book she wants.
Yeah, that's true.
So, no, it won't stop us. I'm just going to spray them with Lysol. 431?
Sure.
Grace to Patch on the tapes. So, towards the end, we start, Saint is in on this chase, right? To find Grace. And I'll just read the quote. This is what she hears on the tape. So Patch was recorded many years ago when he was first found, with all his narrations of what he lived in that dark space. So he says, maybe one day I'll be the first to see him after resurrection. And if I'm chosen, he'll send me back to the 3 persons. And they'll hollow me out, watch my blood flow over black rock like I never even was. So at that time, decades ago, this doesn't make any sense. But now Saint realizes that she's describing a location. And so Patch is on the run. He's again trying to find Grace. So I think by now you're right. We already know that. Why didn't we write this down, Lily?
I didn't write it down.
Patch killed Jimmy.
Yes, Patch took Charlotte to the zoo, where Jimmy is a vet there, and recognizes him and kills him because Patch knows what he did to Saint, how he beat her.
Well, and he was almost mocking him. Like he had this nice smile on his face.
Yeah, like a smirk.
But yeah, like a smirk. But he's like, well, yeah, I did beat her, and well, she killed my baby. And so
like
she
it
deserved
justified
it. Yeah, and with a smirk on his face.
Yeah.
So then Patch gives him a hard punch, and Jimmy falls back and hits his head and dies. So there goes Patch again to jail. And in jail, he reconnects with Dr. Toombs.
Dr. Toombs.
And he won't tell him, he won't be upfront about Grace, but the guy is like, he's been on death row forever.
Yeah.
And he's about to actually be executed. So the clock is ticking.
Yeah.
And if they don't get it from him, and of course, Aaron is still missing. We don't know if he's dead, if he's alive. So that's kind of where we're at the story.
Yeah.
And we find out on page 435 a little bit about the backstory to Eli Aaron, the photographer. So I just read that quote to you. Saint realizes this is a location. She goes to a convent, a church, and she speaks to the nuns there. And so one of Sister Cecile remembers Eli Aaron, and she says that he was an orphan, I believe, who lived there at the convent, and he was very anti-abortion, and somehow he decided, I guess they put two and two together, that he was going to go after women that aborted. And so that is his story. Like he is on a mission to punish these women that he believes are sinful. And
so the women that were abducted throughout the country, really, she listens to all these tapes, and there's this images, right? So Saint knows to go there, and they do find the bodies there. They're buried with rosaries.
Yes.
So there's a connection. And she goes to the convent and sees the rosary, like,
it's the same rosary. Yeah.
Who bought this?
Yes.
Who bought this? And that's how she makes a connection. Like, he was here.
Yeah.
And she finds out, and they tell her somebody came in and bought one. So she knows he's on his way to kill someone else because he's got some rosaries ready for somebody else.
I found his backstory on page 437.
Okay.
At the age of 6, he arrived at the convent. His mother had a record, a woman who sold her body for money, addiction, overdose. A tale so played out, she had not flinched as she read. So we learn about his mother and the trauma that he also carries, and why he is the way that he is.
Yeah.
On page 444, this is when Patch runs into Jimmy at the zoo. So I guess I got ahead of myself.
Thanks.
He sees him, and just to make sure I got the dialogue right, Patch recognizes Jimmy, and of course everybody knows who Patch is because he wears a patch. so yes, and Patch says to Jimmy, "You remember me?" And Jimmy nods. "I remember you, Joseph, and you remember Saint. You remember beating her. You remember telling everyone in town that she murdered my child." Patch knew about the notion of purpose, of free will, and a divine goal. He knew about determinism and the need to shape a future. He knew it might have been the one bad thing Jimmy Walters had done, that maybe he could rewrite that turned chapter and save his own story. There was much that Patch knew, but nothing that could change what happened next. So this is when he punches him.
Yeah.
We learn later in the story, and he accidentally killed him. And he did it in front of Charlotte. Yes, his daughter. So there goes
That's trauma.
Yes.
For her too.
Goes back to jail. And now, like you mentioned, Saint gets custody of Charlotte.
And not the grandma. And I don't understand why.
I didn't either. I didn't understand why it wasn't the grandma. And she didn't even like Saint. Like,
no, she didn't.
Charlotte was something else. She was a very rebellious young lady.
Yeah. So while in jail, he finds a way to work for the library, where he goes to deliver books to the prisoners. And he finds a way to go all the way to Toombs's cell. To give him a book and try to plead, like, please let me know where you buried Grace. Yeah. And Toombs, at this point, he's gonna die. And he does tell him, I didn't kill her.
Yeah.
He comes forward, and Patch is like, all this time he's thinking Grace is dead. Grace
and let's remember, he was a beloved doctor who looked after after the families, and he even looked after Ivy, Patch's mom.
Yeah.
So it was weird, bizarre to find out that he was in cahoots with Eli Aaron. But, I mean, at this point in the story, like, I believe it. He's been in jail for decades.
Yeah.
So another plot twist, right? As we will see coming later on. 454. I had to read this because we're all about reading, Lily.
Yes.
And the quote is, reading isn't a privilege. I believe we all have the right to leave our problems and escape into another world, if only through the written word. And that's
So
why we love to
true.
read.
Yes.
It definitely.
So if you're not a reader,
Yes, try
pick
it.
up a book. You don't
Try
know.
it.
Yeah. Pick up a short book.
Yes.
One that's not going to be
Not this one.
overwhelming.
I mean, sorry, Chris Whitaker. We did love it.
This is for experienced readers.
But if it's overwhelming for you to start with something huge, then yeah.
Start with short stories.
Yeah. Page 463. I have a fun fact for you regarding death row. Patch knew the average wait was 15 years in a cell 8 by 10. Also knew a quarter would die before the state could kill them. He knew they were more prone to disease, malnutrition, psychosis. Sleep was broken every 30 minutes for counts that rattled locks. Patch knew 4% would be innocent. No religious rights, despite what the Supreme Court ruled. Patch knew these things because he had spent his first year in the prison library reading and listening and working his angle. So, yeah, interesting facts, right, about death row.
I mean, those that are in there deserve it, but then, like you said, 4%
Yeah,
of
what
them
about those 4%? Yeah.
don't deserve to be there.
Yeah. Page 487.
487. Do we have the same thing?
We do. Go ahead.
Color in the dark, meaning and purpose. I'm not sure where it's kind of hard.
So the title is explained here, and according to me, Marty is Dr. Toombs. I guess maybe someone all wrong for me in the ways that counted least. We fell in love, and it was like, when all of a sudden there's meaning, actual true meaning and purpose. According to me, the title was explained here, but I don't remember how. But I think this is where we discover that the doctor and Nix were a couple.
We don't discover it there, but
No?
yes. But like he's talking about when he fell in love, it was like, you have a purpose, and Patch us. It's like color in the dark.
I didn't read that part. Sorry. Yes, I missed. I should have kept going. It's right there.
It's like
color
finding
in the dark.
color in the dark when you find purpose. And I think that's Patch's purpose, to find color in the dark in the basement where he was at. And to him, that's finding grace. That's going to be the color he finds in the dark.
And that should be our mission in life, right? Like, we're surrounded by darkness. I mean, that's life. And
Not just
we need
what we
to
wear.
find colors.
Find
in
colors
the dark.
in the dark.
Yes. If they're not finding us, we need to look for them. Actively seek color in the dark.
But yeah, he talks about falling in love. And then you wonder, he's stuck in a jail cell now.
Yeah. What are the chances?
To death, right? And then, and I think it's after this. And he befriends and he starts to have conversations with Marty Toombs. All this time, you're like, he's the one that abducted women. And how can you have this relationship with this man? But he wants that because he wants to know where Grace is buried.
Yes.
But then he says, I didn't kill her. So now he's like,
what?
Okay, what is happening? And so there was a fight that broke out in the prison. And there was a young kid there, right?
A 19-year-old.
A 19-year-old in solitary confinement along with Patch. And he tells him something about a painting that is hung in the warden's office. That Patch painted. He bought it from Sammy at the gallery. And the kid told him, oh, that's Grace Falls in Alabama.
Yeah.
And Patch is like, what?
The place does exist.
It exists.
I didn't imagine
it. Called Grace Falls. And so the plot starts.
Yes. Another twist.
Right? And this is where there's lots of people coming in. We don't know it until after the fact, but there's a lot of people that have a hand on Patch escaping prison. He escapes. He does. He needs to go find Grace. And in the meantime, Saint is doing her own investigation. Yep. And somehow they will end up in the same place in Grace Falls. Yes. Page 518. Yeah, I have something that says interesting. And it's just maybe when we pray. This is Saint talking to Charlotte. You're going to say you didn't think I believed because I don't go to church, Saint said. I see you pray. Maybe when we pray, we're not asking for intervention. We're just reminding ourselves of the things that matter. You screw up and ask forgiveness of yourself. Someone loses their way and you search your own mind for the guidance to help them. So, she's not a believer. She doesn't go to church, but it's like, but you still pray. But maybe for everyone, praying means something different,
True.
right?
The
And it's a way.
reflection, yeah.
Yep. Exactly. I just wrote interesting for that.
518. On 518, Saint and Charlotte are talking, and my comment was, sometimes you gaslight yourself when you're in a relationship. Saint says, you ever know something, but sometimes you're able to convince yourself it isn't real. And then Charlotte says, Santa, I caught my grandmother eating the cookies when I was 6. Didn't stop me believing entirely. I never told anyone that. Because once you say it, it makes it real. Saint fixed her eyes on her. So it's true, right? Like, I mean, I guess you just decide, no, I want to continue believing this lie or this fantasy. And I think that just doesn't happen with Santa. It happens with relationships as well.
Well, in religion.
Yeah, that's true. Politics. I mean, it can be in many scenarios, right? So on 541, we learned that, it's confirmed that Dr. Toombs is innocent. But let me see. She thought of him visiting high schools, hanging around outside in case they sought him, but being there so they knew they were not alone. She thought of the girls, some not even older than she had been back then, turning up at the farmhouse and being led to the room where he took one life to save another. No questions were asked. No blame apportioned. Girls from church towns, from unforgiving families, wealthy, poor. He gave them their lives back, and then someone found out. So what Dr. Toombs was performing illegal abortions.
That's what he was guilty of.
Yes,
really.
that's what he was guilty of. And he feels guilty. And so he feels that he deserves being in jail for doing that. And that's why he hasn't fought that. Because in a way, he feels that he deserves that punishment.
When it was prom night for them, when Patch and Saint were in high school, Saint didn't make it to prom because she somehow made it over to Marty Toombs' house. That's how he was discovered. That's how he was arrested. Chief Nix also goes there, right? And they find a basement and there's blood everywhere. And that was blood that belonged to Clementine, I think, right? Clementine, one of the girls that was abducted, but then the blood was found there, so they knew she died here, right? That's how Martin was arrested, ended up in death row. But as they explain it,
the blood was from the abortion.
The blood was from the abortion.
Yeah.
She bled. She bled. She hemorrhaged and died. Chief Nix, who was in a relationship with the doctor, helped him cover it up. They buried, right? They buried her in a backyard somewhere in the forest. They buried her. The dad of the girl that died on by hemorrhaging there, did he find out or something?
Is this Callie Montrose?
Callie Montrose, dad was part of the police force there, and she got pregnant because her dad raped her. And Chief Nix discovered this and went over to his house. This is years later.
Yeah, when he's already retired.
Yeah, when he's retired, killed the dad. And Saint finds out, goes over to see the chief. I think he explains stuff to her, but then he commits suicide.
Yeah, because he knows he's going to end up in jail.
Yeah.
So he decides.
He kills himself. But all of this starts unraveling at the end. Marty Toombs. And she's like calling everybody like he's innocent. He's innocent. Eli is alive and he's somewhere. They find him, right?
Yeah.
They find him somewhere.
Yeah.
Patch is gone. Escaped the prison.
Yes. He escapes.
He escapes the prison. He ends up at Alabama, Grace Falls. Which he ends up at that house. By memory.
Yes. Yes.
He goes to a diner and tells the woman there, do you know the house that, he describes it. Oh yeah, it's over there. Small towns. He goes there and finds.
So I let me help you because I have some notes here. Patch finds Grace. She is Eli's daughter. The photographer.
Pues, dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. He had her locked up all these years, all these decades. So there was
a reason for that.
Yeah.
I don't remember why.
Eli, we discovered at that time too that Eli tried to kill Misty, not because she tried to have an abortion like all the other girls, but because she was pro V Wade. That was his beef with her.
Yeah.
And we also learned at the end that Saint did have the baby that we thought she aborted. but she had given up this baby for adoption. So all that time that she had been in hiding, she was actually, pregnant.
And nobody knows.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody knows that she actually has a son.
Mm-hmm.
And she does go see him.
Yeah, well, in the, from a distance. She wants to keep up with
what he's doing and what he's
and she
up
sees
to.
that he has a good life, and she just stays away.
Mm-hmm.
And ironically, she somehow still becomes a mother to Charlotte.
Yeah.
On page 570, I wrote that sometimes all roads lead to the same destination. They knew that for some, it was written in the stars that no matter how hard they fought their road, did not lead somewhere good or somewhere different.
Yeah.
Like you try to detour, but are we predestined to end up in a certain way? And no matter how much we fight it, we're going to end up in that way, right? In the last book, I think that we discussed, Lily, Winnie the Pooh came up. And in this book, 578, they keep mentioning the book Where the Wild Things Are.
Mm-hmm.
So, my question to you and to our readers is, what is your favorite children's book? Is there one that is particularly special to you?
I remember reading Charlie and the Chocolate Factory
Mm-hmm.
and the Chronicles of Narnia.
Mm-hmm.
The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Mm-hmm. Although that's a lengthier one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that just, I don't know why. That's
Yeah. One of the ones that I like a lot is The Missing Piece by Shel Silverstein. It's just, the messaging, like you keep trying to find that person and, you just have to be whole as you are on your own by yourself.
Be complete.
Yes. And you're incomplete.
That's what I like. Don't find someone to complete you. Find someone who compliments you.
Yes. And, at the end of the book, we've, Grace is found. And
she's real.
Yes,
I was like,
what? You feel for this poor girl who's been locked up all her life with this crazy father. She decides also to rebuild her home. She will spend the money that she earns from this painting that Patch sold to rebuild her home, and is working at rebuilding herself.
Patch ends up killing Eli.
I didn't remember that part.
Yeah. Because he's saving
Grace.
her.
Yes, you're right.
Saving Grace from her dad. So while Patch is there, Saint also comes.
Everybody comes.
Everybody comes
at the same time.
But it's inferred that Saint lets Patch get a head start, and he's gone into hiding. And now it's just Saint and Charlotte because Norma passed away.
Yeah. And so did her other grandma pass away too?
I don't think
I can't remember.
Did, but
Patch cannot be seen because he escaped from prison.
Yeah.
And at the end, they somehow find him. At the end of the book, he's living in a coastal town. He has a boat.
So I know Charlotte's gonna go to school in Boston, and prior to going to school, her and Saint go on a road trip. But before going on this road trip, there's a package that was sent to Charlotte, and Saint goes to get some hot chocolate, comes back, and she sees, I don't know if you remember this, but she sees Charlotte with a jar of purple honey.
Oh, yeah.
With a jar of purple honey, and there's a label on it.
And that's how they find him.
They go to the town where the label. So it's almost like Patch. Well, I'm sure Patch send it to Charlotte with the label.
Yeah.
And they end up in that town. And they show the lady there, like, have you seen him? No. So they're like, kind of like, oh, but I think only Saint knows about this. So they go to the harbor, and there comes in a sailboat with a crossbow sail, and right away they know. So they're kind of connected again, like
their rainbow connection.
Their rainbow connection. They're there. Charlotte embraces him as her dad.
Yes, finally,
you're there. But deep down they're never going to be able to be together because he needs to keep going in hiding. Yeah, because he's a
escaped felon or prisoner or whatever.
I mean, yeah, exactly. So,
and then he paints. He had never painted Saint.
No.
And so the book ends with a painting that he gifts her, and they are sitting. I'll just read you the lines. She looks at the two figures lying beneath the stars, their heads side by side, their feet the north and south of a compass, the 13-year-old pirate and the beekeeper that saved his life. So it was a beautiful ending to the book.
Now I want to go to North Carolina for purple honey.
Maybe one day we'll go. Yes. And we will show you if we do go.
Yes. But yeah, Chris, oh my gosh.
Yes.
You're writing. I was like,
almost made me cry. But that's a lot.
Yeah,
because I read a lot of books. They don't all almost make me cry.
It was yeah.
So next on our radar is The Housemaid.
By Frida McFadden.
I have to say that it is suspenseful. We both already started reading it.
All her books are.
Yes.
I've read many, and
I had read one and I didn't realize
Which one is it?
The one about the wife. There's a list here, but it was many, many years ago. As I was looking at The Wife Upstairs, she's got something about doors and being upstairs and being in attics and being downstairs.
I read that one. That one's good.
Yes.
Okay, let's finish this, and then we'll do a separate video of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're done.
Okay.
So take that one, remove that one. So we're gonna finish this.
Do we say anything, or are you just going to take a...
Yeah, you just
Okay.
finish
Okay.
this,
Okay.
this podcast, and then we'll do a
A
separate,
separate video. Okay. Okay. All right. So yeah, closure. We're done. Maybe there's no closure for Patch, but you know.
Yeah. And those are the best books, I think. The ones that give you, there's no clear ending,
No,
right? It's like, okay, well, how do we imagine?
But he found grace, and I
Yes.
feel like to him that he's
Yes.
ready to move on to
the next chapter, whatever that
chapter of Isley. No
Yeah.
pun intended.
But yes, kind of.
But yes, thank you,
Until
Chris,
next time,
for
friends.
this. Until we see you again.
Shout out to Paloma, who gave me this beautiful marker.
Paloma gave you a beautiful
Books,
bookmark.
everyone. She was my former student.
Yeah.
Yes,
it's
I love that
pretty.
she's reading with us too.
Oh, yay.
Yes.
Yeah. So once again,
Until next time.
follow us, like us.
Post-its.
Oh, our discussions.
Yeah.
Lot.
A lot.
There was a lot to
There was
say
a lot.
here.
Okay. Oh my gosh. It's okay. It's empty.
Oh.